Hello everybody, my name is Poison Ducky, and let's have another Total War Warhammer 2 replay. This one's going to be nothing too special in terms of like what faction I'm playing. I'm back with Chaos, but I am doing something fairly different with my strategy. You can probably already tell by just looking at the minimap here. There's like two little smiley faces on each side, or with eyebrows, I suppose. But it's going to be me as Chaos, nothing too special, versus the Lizardman, which is supposedly a bad matchup for Chaos, which is like, I don't. Well, I suppose the Croak Death Star versus Chaos is very effective, and I've showcased that one before, but I don't think it's a terrible matchup. And let's get into the army introductions. This one's a little bit memey, let's just say that for sure. 2 units of Chaos Marauders with great weapons on each side, so I'm doing like a double front here, with 2 units of Chaos Warriors with halberds on each side. And if you can probably already tell the theme, it's 2 Hell Cannons being supported. You pretty much have to either split up your army or commit to one to try to stop me. And of course, I'm going to have Sartorial the Everwatcher. This is the first time I've brought him into a replay combat. And he's the Ever Chicken. He's pretty good. He has the Lore of Metal, which I like. And look at his odd staff. It's such a interesting little weapon he has. The Ever Chicken strikes again. I like him because he's relatively fast and he has high mass, along with bringing magic, so I don't have to bring any Chaos Sorcerer of any sort. Oh god, you can already see the fire of Hell Cannons just blasting at the opponents. It's already starting. I'm going to have 1 unit that's a little chevron. I had a little tiny bit of extra gold. Chaos Warhounds with poison that will just be able to chase units off the battlefield. Really good with dealing with skinks overall, and that's really it. I was kind of afraid of like chameleon skinks or any skink skirmishers, so that's the matchup for that. And I'm going to have 3 units of Chaos Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes this time, not the normal ones or the Horse Masters. Got to bring the axes so that they have armor-piercing projectiles, just in case they bring the big dinos, and oh boy, is my opponent bringing the big dinos. So his front line is going to be relatively cheap and a good one as well, especially for the Chaos matchup. He's going to bring a zigzag line of Red Crested Skinks, so 4 of those, along with 5 Source Spears. Now, 5 Source Spears seems a bit overkill to me. A little like, spears don't have very great AP values. They all do have anti-large, but most of the large units on the Chaos roster have quite a bit of armor, except for I believe Shaggoths. No, they would do well against Shaggoths, I suppose, but like Kolek, no, nothing. And I don't know, 5 units just seems a bit too much. But of course, he's going to have to bring his large core of 2 Carnosaurs, one of them being ridden by Krokgar on his mighty his mighty ride Grimlock. So it's going to be quite dangerous. Krokgar does a lot of damage and is a anti-large specialist. Luckily for me, I only have 1 large unit, and it's the Ever Chicken. He's going to all be backed up with 1 unit of Kroxigors. So pretty special stuff in terms of a pretty small dinosaur core, because only 2 big ones, but they're probably one of the most dangerous ones in the Lizardman roster. We just need to wait for the Dread Saurian to come now. And that's going to be the army introductions. Now let's start off by showing a little bit of light skirmishing. My opponent did not bring any ranged components in his army whatsoever. In fact, he didn't even bring any magic. He's going all in with this infantry push with high stopping power with his Carnosaurs and the 1 unit of Kroxigors. Now he is keeping the Kroxigors back. I believe this is because he wants to keep them from getting fired on by the Hell Cannons, but I'm going to definitely be focusing on the infantry with Hell Cannons. They're much better against infantry because of their splash damage anyway. And unfortunately for me, a lot of the shots are just straight up missing. I hope this one missed. Ooh, that's a really great hit actually. Now you might ask me, hey, why are you focusing down the skink cohorts, Red Crested Skinks, and not the Source Spears? And that's because the Red Crested Skinks have armor piercing. The Source Spears, yeah, they're much tougher. They have more armor, higher melee defense, but these are actually what are going to do the damage because of their armor piercing values against my Chaos Warriors with halberds. And I only have 4 halberds, remember. So it's not that much. I don't have the numbers advantage, and that's for sure. So I'm going to try to get a flank here. They're going to get the main engagement. 2 skinks versus 1 halberd unit while getting some nice little chaos shots. I'm going to move them, try to get a flank on here, and my opponent's going to try to do some harassment with the Pohawk Sentinels. A little cheeky play by him. But I have some halberds in reserve. Get them out of here. And the warp chicken himself is going to stop this relatively quickly. I do take my gun crew off the cannon, so I don't lose the cannon just in case. And so far, we're doing rather well. My 1 unit of Chaos Marauders routed 2 units of Red Crested Skinks because of all that Overwatch fire from the Hell Cannon. And you see my opponent is elected the strategy of all in. He's going to all in one flank and he's going to try to push the other flank. So I essentially get guaranteed value out of 1 Hell Cannon, which is going to be quite nice. And this Hell Cannon, while taken offline momentarily, will get the crew back on and start firing as soon as possible. Now here comes the dangerous part of this matchup. He is going to get his Carnosaurs and chase my big bird across the entire map because they will do devastating amounts of damage. You do not want any form of Carnosaur against any large units, including horses or Sartorial. Luckily for me, or not so luckily, but strategically for me, the Marauder Horsemen are faster and can kite them with relative ease and throw axes into his large body, all armor piercing. No anti-large though, but will do a big number on him. Now I am going to use a transmutation of lead to decrease melee attack and weapon damage. Make sure they takes as long as possible to break through this chaos line, which it will inevitably break through. The only thing is I can slow it down, make sure my Hell Cannons get the most value as possible before they get taken out. At least this one gets taken out of the battlefield. I'm going to be using this one as these units are a bit too close. I just use these units to scare away. They've done a lot of damage. How much so far? 54 kills here and 86 over here. Like, you can't complain about those Hell Cannon stats. Unfortunately, they are all on skinks, which is not the best value you can do. They finally do break away one of my Chaos Warriors with halberds, and it's through sheer numbers are going to break my front line of Chaos Warriors with halberds here, and some Chaos Marauders. Like, oh, I thought it was going to loop in and just hit like a million little guys. And I'm going to, frankly, just lose this flank. Frankly, I'm going to lose this flank. Wow, I am a poet, guys. But the balance of power is still even, and I do have more numbers. These Hell Cannons, I've hit a massive number on my opponent's armies, and because of the Hell Cannon crew being unbreakable, they just fight to the bitter end against a horde of just lizards and reptiles, while my Chaos Warriors will inevitably just rout. Nothing too special there. Chaos, chosen of the Chaos Gods, Nurgle, Slanesh, Zeech, and Korn, and they get terrified. You think they'll be immune to psychology of some kind. Over in the left flank, I do get chased down by these Carnosaur goon squad, and I'm going to try to defend my Sartorial, but the problem here is the mass difference. These Carnosaurs are so big in mass, they can just walk through any unit they really want to. And unfortunately, because of this, they will eventually get Sartorial out of this battlefield. He has such low health, it's really going to take one more hit with 668 stats in terms of damage. It's like, look at this. Oh, man. This is why halberds are just not fantastic. In a sustained combat against large units, yes, halberds will do great against any large unit. But most good players are not even good players. You just have to be an average player will understand that you can just push them right through. Now the Croxagore is all the way in the back of the map, finally make it to the battlefield, only to do the one thing I told you guys not to do, and that's to fight halberds in sustained combat in melee. And that's what happens. That's the one thing you do not do, and the halberds take almost no losses, and my Marauder Horsemen will be chasing them off the battlefield. Make sure they don't come back. And my Hell Cannon over here is just firing with nothing to stop it. Like another good shot into these Saurus Spears, whittling down their numbers one by one. And at this point, there's almost no red-crested skinks left on this battlefield, which is the main danger. And you'll see I'll use these Chaos Warhounds with poison to actually keep them off. I'm going to shatter this unit, and this unit's going to rout straight off while being chased by the Chaos Warhounds. Chaos Warhounds, very important, and I think it's very important. Chaos should always bring one unit of Chaos Warhounds, at least one. In almost every matchup, they'll be useful in chasing units off the battlefield, and they will accrue a lot of value just from that fact. And if they have a lot of archers and such, obviously the backline pressure will be humongous. Now over here, you're going to see he's just going to try to chase off my units. I'm making sure the Kroxigors leave the battlefield. A few horsemen are going to get caught. They're going to get terrified, but they'll be back relatively soon. While my Chaos Cannon just gets more and more value. So much value that they've run out of ammo. So at this point, the balance of power is still fairly even. My opponent is regrouping his units, and I'm going to have a last stand as I have no more ranged components left in my army. I'm going to try to push forward with my Chaos Marauders with great weapons. He's going to try to get a rear charge here, but almost no effect with the Teardown Riders. And Teardown Riders, they did all right. Only 20 kills. That's a lot less than I expected. And we're going to have a rear charge into these Marauder Spears. I mean, Saurus Spears. Pretty nice effect. So we got a Hammer and Anviled. We got the anti-armored Chaos, and we got the Horsemen in the back. I'm going to bring in the Warhounds just so I can apply the poison. I realize the Warhounds won't deal that much damage, but the effect of applying poison will be quite nice. And at this point, it's going to become a monster mash. Halberds are going to engage these spears over on this flank. They'll win with relative ease, and it's going to be a mosh pit. He's not bringing in his Carnosaurs quite yet. He's going to try to bring them in from a good angle here, and because of this, it's going to make a mass Terrify route. The biggest issue with Chaos is just the Chaos, unless you bring Archaon the Everchosen, mass routes is a huge issue for Chaos, which I really dislike. I think they should definitely have some more immune to psychology, or at least I think Chaos Warriors should at least give off fear. If these guys, how do these burly men covered in skulls marked by chaos not exude any amount of fear? Same for a lot of the beastmen don't exude fear, and in fact just lose to it outright. But all my units, all of my enemy's units are going to start to rampage as they're getting too low on health. It increases their melee attack by a little bit, but when you rampage, you know they're on the back foot. Balance of power is going strongly in my favor because in the end, my opponent will have to engage, and engaging against halberds is the last thing you want to do against as Lizardmen. The only way my opponent could possibly win against halberds with large units like this is continuous cycle charging. And that's something as long as my halberds are braced, should not be a problem. Now I'm going to have a resurgence of units. My right flank units are coming back. They got routed way out of the edges of the battlefield, so it's taking them ages to come back, but now I have them back. So a resurgence of units that are badly injured but still in the fight. This is going to just solidify my winning state, and that will be the GG for me. They're just going to start to mass rout. It's only the Carnosaurs left. I'm chasing this one off the battlefield with Chaos Marauders with great weapons. Krokgar, the mighty Lizardman himself, getting chased off by some weak berserker like Vikings, and they're not even the Norska variants, so they're just getting chased off by the weaker berserkers. And of course, some more Halbern on Carnosaur action, which is a great combat. He's going to rampage, so he has no choice but to fight my halberds, which is a great time for me. My Chaos Warhounds doing their job. They scared off all those units in the back line, and they have 96 kills. That's just fantastic, and that's going to be the win. Let's see our unit efficiency. Overall, I'm actually pretty happy with this build. The double Hell Cannon build is just... it's a little memey, and it's a little cheesy, I suppose, but it's still a fun build nonetheless. Chaos Warriors with great weapons, they did their job. I was expecting Saurus. I wasn't expecting that many spears. Like, this wasn't a very hard army to come up with, obviously. But, I don't know. Like, a lot of Saurus. I was expecting, so Chaos Marauders with great weapons, while they will lose to the Saurus, they trade well, as they have the armor-piercing values. They go past the around 60 armor of the Saurus. And while they might have worse stats, they're still going to do a good deal of damage, especially if they get the flank us off like I did with the front line of Chaos Halberds using charging the back line with Chaos Marauders with great weapons. Now you think Red Crescent Skinks will do really well against Chaos Warriors, and you would be correct, except the Hell Cannons just dealt with them really well while my Chaos Warhounds chased them off the battlefield. 96 kills. It's just fantastic. Marauder Horsemen doing their job. Not many kills, but they did a lot of HP damage to the Feral Carnosaur and Krokgar with their thrown axes. If only I got more value out of Sartorial. Being chased down from one end of the map to the other by all these Carnosaurs, it was inevitable. But if only I got more like final transmutations off, that would have been fantastic. But you know what? You have to lose some to win some in terms of army value. So I lost the value here, but I won value pretty much everywhere else in my army, which is fun. But overall, GG to my opponent, Loloro. And yeah, let's see. Actually, I'll be completely honest. I think his build was fine. Let's go into a Lizardman build here. Custom battle. Let's go into Lizardman. Krokar, a fine choice. I would bring him against Chaos all the time. And one Carnosaur is a great fine choice as well. Just in case you go Kolek, Dragon Ogres, very dangerous, bring them. Now, the differences in my army here is I'm definitely not going to bring Source Spears by any. It's just not worth it. And here's an interesting take. I'm not going to bring even the shielded variant. The extra, it's only 50 more for shields, which is a steal, and the increase in melee defense. Let's look at it. Melee defense from 28 to 38. 28 to 34. 28, 32. You know what? For 50 increasing melee defense, actually, I do believe that's worth it. Just in case they bring Marauders. 3 Saurus Warriors with shields is plenty. That's really all you need. The only reason you're actually bringing Saurus in this matchup is because they hold the line well. Now, you need the Red Crested Skinks, especially the Cohort of Sotek. These are unbreakable, so they won't leave anytime soon, and you need at least... I think this is a pretty good core of 5 Red Crested Skinks because the armor-piercing values of Chaos are just too good. Like, everything is armored in Chaos. There's very few units that are not armored, and the few units that are usually large, and that's what the Carnosaurs are going to deal with. So lots of Red Crested Skinks. And at this, what's left over is what is like the kind of flex pick here. We can go with Cold One Knights, Spear, just in case they go for Lances. I think that this is the safe play, going with Cold One Spear Riders, having each flank combined with Feral Carnosaurs. I think this is a solid build by itself against Chaos. Of course, we have 700 funds. Let's get a Lore of Magic into here. Skink, Priest, Beast, or Heavens? Definitely Heavens would be the better choice in my opinion. Put him on a Pterodon. Make sure the spells. You don't really need Chain Lightning or Comet. You really need just the Harmonic Convergence. And I guess really Harmonic Convergence, Wind Blast is really all you need. And let's see, 29. Can I just take off something like Swiftness of Eitzel is actually really great. I don't want to take that off. And so is the Sacred Spawning. How would I cut this? Oh yeah, remember when I said they really don't need shields? All right, so actually I don't want that. I want the Saurus Warriors. Now you might ask me why am I bringing the Saurus Warriors? Is because with this build having so much anti-large components with the Feral Carnosaurs and the Cold One Spear Riders, you really don't need any more spears in your army. You just want, and if they bring Marauders like I did, I bring a lot of Marauders. Marauders are low armor. Saurus destroy Marauders as long as they're the club variant, the mace variant. Spears will just, they take a little too long. While they will kill the Marauders, it just takes too long, not very efficient in the matter. So with that, I think this is a pretty decent build here, and it follows tournament rules as well. So against the Chaos matchup, I think they'll do well, and especially against the Hell Cannon cheese that I went for in this past replay. But a lot of people, I do want to say you have a lot of Lizardmen, especially with this new DLC, so many options for Lizardmen. You can bring Lord Croak. You can go with Tic-Tac-Toe. The Colossedon Hunters are fantastic. I love the Colossedon Hunters in almost any matchup that might involve any form of air or any important large units like Kolek. So overall, bring Coxagores. There's just so many options for the Lizardmen. I really like it. Hell, if you're even a little memey, bring an Ancient Stegodon, or at that point, just bring Tenuan on an Ancient Stegodon with the Engine of the Gods. So, overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy. I hope you liked the video, guys, and leave a like if you did, and subscribe if you want more. I'll catch you guys later.